Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Jason Bradshaw. I have my
My
co-host,
name is Altrice Anderson.
and we are live with Code.Sip.Repeat. And today we're diving into the world of content creation, what it takes, the challenges, and the mindset behind it. I'm gonna let my guests introduce themselves. We have from my left, Mr. Ronald Brown.
How y'all doing? My name is Ron Hart Brown or Ronald Brown. I am a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and I own a pro-black apparel and accessories brand, and I'm also the lead designer for Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Blue Five.
You know,
All right, Miss Tirzah.
My name is Tirzah Monee. I'm a brand strategist and accountability coach and founder of Yes Honey Collective. Background web design, interactive media, and getting people to do things the right way.
All
I
right,
love it. Come on, accountability partner. Yes, ma'am.
let's go.
I need you right now.
You can
All
talk.
right, and let's go, Mister.
Hello, everyone. I am Nicole Sade. I am an author, blogger, award-winning journalist, now a media personality. I am one of the co-hosts of the Morning Ox, which is a new morning show for millennials. So yeah, check it out when you get a chance. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube. But you can catch the replay on YouTube and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartMedia.
Let's go. Let's get it. Let's
It's
get it.
multimedia in your bag. Her.
All right. So before we get into the theme, we have to ask you, what are you sipping on? So we're going to reverse order. Nicole, what you sipping on?
Actually, let me show y'all. Hold on.
Not she had to go off screen.
I didn't try to do that, but this is what I'm about to crack open.
Red
It
Oh,
is
Hazel.
that
called
look
Red
nice.
Hazel Spice Whiskey. So
that
on
sounds
my blog, and it's gonna be the first time trying it. On my blog, I have a column called Sis Have a Cocktail, and I send out cocktail recipes every Tuesday. And this is my first collaboration with a black owned liquor brand.
Oh, we need to
So
talk. We need
yep.
to talk for them for real. All right, Tears.
They in Atlanta, actually.
Oh yeah, perfect. We need to talk to them. Tears, what you sipping on?
I am with my coconut water. That's all I drink nowadays. And stuff, but Vita Coco.
Okay, cool, cool. Ron, what you sipping on, bro?
I am sipping on a hot toddy with raspberry tea and some of my good brother and good friend Elijah Craig.
Oh, for sure, for sure,
Now,
for sure,
usually I'm sipping
Oh,
on some Uncle Nearest,
for
but
sure.
today I had to shift it a little bit.
you sipping on some Uncle Eli. Come on with the drink.
And now, Trees, what you sipping on? Oh,
I'm sipping on my signature cocktail for live with Code.Sip.Repeat. That is the Code.Sip.Repeat lemon drop.
cheers. So
Now the question is, Jason, what you sipping on?
I'm just sipping on some wine tonight. I'm keeping it light.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What kind of wine?
This is Snoop Dogg's. Um,
Uh,
what's it called? Shit, I forgot. But
his face on the bottle, that's all that matters.
mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and
That's
get
the brand.
into
The face
exactly,
on the bottle.
exactly. All right, let's get into it. So, the reason I wanted to do this theme and this topic is because as an entrepreneur, I'm still learning the ins and outs of business and things like that, and I felt like having this collective would one be a good way for me to learn some, but then also teach other people at the same time, and also help you all promote your brands as well. So that was why I wanted to get this group together. So one of the first things I want to ask you is what was the turning point that made you say, I'm going to start creating content? And then what keeps you motivated to when things get tough? So I'll start with Tirzah since you're in the middle.
So my background is in like this is what I went to school for. So like I didn't I won't say that I intentionally branded myself as a coach. What actually happened is with my car, I had a car accident and I had memory issues, and so I started sharing what I knew to like rebuild my memory. And I probably did that for a year of just pumping out content before I actually branded it into the coaching side of things, because people were like, okay, like how do we work with you? I'm like, you don't don't right now. But it created its own demand, because the first time I threw out like a tweet to like start working with people, I think I had like 16 clients instantly, and stuff like that. But the other side of that is like once the healing journey was like over, I had to like intentionally start building content. So that turning point was really just being able to like package things that I was already doing. I always say like I'm not a content creator, I'm a teacher first. So like if I'm speaking, I try to use pieces of that or like to flow into my content versus like me trying to like sit at a whiteboard and be like, okay, what content I'm going to plan out this week. So
Okay. And the second part, what keeps you going? Like what makes you just keep doing it?
I feel like I'm really inspired by the people who show up and do something with what I share. And so like when I have interactions with people like you or like different client, like, you know, past clients and stuff like that, I'm always inspired by how far other people will take it. And I'm just like, that's really cool. And it ends up being this like beautiful, like symbiotic thing.
Cool. Miss Nicole.
Okay, so for me, I think I really just honed in on creating content when I realized that my voice actually mattered. So as a journalist, you know, I freelanced for different publications, and then I was a full-time staff member for a local newspaper, and I was telling other people's stories, but I knew Black millennial women like me needed to see our stories, you know, more alive, and that they could be more reflective and authentically told. So that's what made me start just creating content for myself and for other people, because I felt like, okay, I know the way that I feel. I'm not the only person that's feeling this way. So just being on campus at school and just working different jobs and just hearing different women that are facing like maybe situations that I'm not necessarily in or can relate to, but I know that somebody else can. So just being able to take somebody else's story and create content around it and coming up with like just great masterpieces. And what keeps me motivated is getting those messages from people saying, who told you my secret? Or how did you know, that I was feeling this way? So it's, to me, it's like I formed like a connection and a community with different women. And that was my aha moment. It at that point, it was just more than content. It was more like purpose.
And what keeps you going?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Just
I
that
mean,
purpose? I mean, or is it something else that
yeah,
keeps you
pretty
going?
much. Knowing that I'm creating content that other people can relate to, and just basically wanting to be the voice for millennial women.
Okay, cool. Ron?
Oh, I really very similar to Tirzah. Like, I don't consider myself a content creator. I brand myself as a designer, as an educator, and as an entrepreneur. And for me, it all goes back to before I taught for 5 years on the south side of Chicago. I had students who, they needed me to meet them where they were. And I firmly believe in that. And still to this day, like, these are still some of my favorite people on the internet, because I see some of the stuff they post and I just shake my head. But I think that when I took that, and I've worked with small businesses way back in college, and then I look at where I'm at now, and the biggest thing has been people need to be taught. And that's the biggest reason why I create content, why I started putting stuff out, because it was like after I left the classroom, everywhere is the classroom now. So if I can put stuff together and organize it in a way that is consumable and digestible, and we can talk about platforms and all that kind of stuff. But when I saw that that was the need, then it was like, okay, I can deliver this on these platforms for people in ways that work for them. My background, my undergrad is in electronic and digital media, same as my master's. So like, I went to school for this, but I didn't, when I was teaching, I wasn't using it the way that I felt like I was called to. And then finally, after leaving teaching, it was like, now's the time for you to actually do this stuff. And the reason what keeps me going is there's a clear need outside of the students that I did teach. Like it feels now like my classroom has gotten bigger. You see some of the stuff that I do for Sigma. It's like, I don't believe that there's a lack of talent in the world. I don't believe that there's a lack of interest. I think that ultimately there's a lack of teachers or a lack of knowledge. And if somebody can deliver some of that knowledge, then I'm here for it.
Awesome. Those are some great responses. I appreciate all that. Altrice, do you have any follow-up questions or anything?
I actually do, because each of you guys have identified yourself as, I'm just in shock. So I'm like, these are some real heavy hitters to be able to talk about their journey and what motivates them. So my next follow-up question behind that is, because we're in a world of creating clothes, businesses, content, any type of content just in general. So how do you find that balance for being your authentic self and aiming your content towards your target audience?
I can start. I focus more on my positioning than anything else. And so I'm not like, and it's the same thing I kind of teach my clients too, the quality of your content and the quality of like your positioning opens you up to the opportunities. And so like you can have a very, very small volume of content if you're positioned correctly and you're getting those eyes on your brand, you don't have to do very much. Because the right people and the right clients will go and celebrate you too. And so that it just ends up being like a thing where you're able to create this life cycle of people promoting you to higher and higher stages. And you can decide on if you want to put out more like micro content and smaller sound bites or courses and things like that, or you can go on bigger stages. So it really just depends on what people's goals are. But that's kind of how I approach it. It's I worry more about positioning than anything else.
For me, honestly, I just have to remind myself that I'm my audience too. So if I wouldn't read it, if I wouldn't share it, if I don't connect with it, then it's really not as authentic as I would think it is. So I have to keep that in mind. And you can kind of tell when people are faking it. And then also when I put something out, when I don't want to say half-ass, but if I don't just put that real effort into it, like sometimes I try to be so strict on myself with sticking to my content and my calendar and when I want to publish and stuff like that. So sometimes I beat myself up about like, you said you was going to publish today, you need to publish something today. And it may come off a little rush, and I can kind of tell by the responses or the views or something like that. So when I realized that, I just started taking my time because I realized this is my business. I'm not on anybody else's timeline. But I had to come away from that because at some point when I was working for media organizations, I knew what it was like to meet those deadlines and make sure everything was perfect and stuff like that, because you don't want to put out a story with Birmingham Times and your name on the byline and the information is all wrong, or it's just the quotes and all that kind of stuff wrong. So I try to kind of keep that same mindset when I'm running my own business. So Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And I just try to, make sure I'm looking at things from other people's perspectives too, and make sure that I'm resonating with them for the most part.
I like that. I think I acknowledge and want to acknowledge the privilege that I've had compared to a lot of my friends. And that privilege is I've not had to work really in corporate America.
Mm.
And I've had the ability to choose the clients and what I do since, graduating undergrad. And so, your question being of how do I stay true to my authentic self while still creating content is, the age-old adage from Jay-Z is I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. What I create and what I do is reflective of me. The clients that I take is reflective of me. The content that I put out is genuinely and authentically me. I haven't had to package something up and say, oh, here's this, vanilla brand box cutter thing for clients or for myself. Whenever, I do branding projects for clients or, just general websites or creating content for clients, it still looks and feels like me. And that's usually what clients return for, is because they want that authentic feel. And so making that authenticity as a part of the brand, I think, is one of the main reasons why I'm able to do that.
That's dope. That's dope. Great answers. Great answers. So,
So
oh, go ahead.
I got a follow up for it. Because even though you're one of the hosts, Jason, you are also a content creator yourself, especially with not even just this podcast, but with Code.Sip.Repeat. What do you say for yourself? How do you balance staying true to yourself while creating content that resonates with your target audience?
First, I hate that you put me on the spot, but I'm gonna answer the question. um, I guess for me, staying true to myself just means, not doing anything that doesn't feel natural, that doesn't feel like I would do it in any other circumstance. Not doing things for likes, not doing things just to do it. Like everything I do is intentional. Like even this podcast, the previous one about health, like these are things that I consider important and things that I feel like people would need to hear. And like everybody in some shape or form mentioned their voices matter. I feel like my voice matters as well, and just doing something that teach people. I think everybody said that in some shape, form, or fashion too. Like Nicole was talking about how she wants the millennial woman voice, and Ron, with his education, it's just I love to teach as well. So just being authentic and being real and not faking. A lot of people tell me I'm low energy, and I'm like, hey, this is me. This is me on camera, off camera. So I'm just chill. This is how I am. So yeah, like that.
So in content, you'll say what we see is what we get.
For sure, most definitely.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for, even though I put you on the spot, still answering the question,
For sure.
because, being with doing social media marketing and also seeing how the things are trending and how some people they'll do anything for views or
Hmm.
to make a profit. So when it comes to doing certain particular things like that, that's why I asked the question of how do you find that balance, because nowadays we have to learn from our mistakes. So now that leads me to ask the next question. What is one mistake you made early on as a creator that turned into your biggest lesson? And anybody can answer this question first, whoever got the answer. And I'm looking like, Ronald, you looking like you got the first answer now.
I mean, I have an answer, but I'm also a gentleman, so I also want to make sure that the ladies, if they choose to answer first, they have that option.
It's age before beauty, so we're gonna get you to go first.
That's how she do you, Fred.
Okay, we'll take it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna count my licks. I think the biggest lesson early on that I learned around creating content was the analytics lie. And realizing and accepting, that something may show up as, you didn't get this many likes on this didn't get as many shares, didn't get as many views. But we're talking about analytics versus impact. Those are two different things. And if you're doing this work for impact, then I think that's really where your calling comes into play. And I say that because back when I really first started doing content, again, when I first left the classroom, I was doing these videos called Mr. Brown's class. And I literally was taking content from when I was teaching. I taught high school, taught on the south side of Chicago, taught entrepreneurship, taught broadcast journalism, taught digital arts. And students were hitting me up and asking me, hey, can you send me the business template that we used in class, right? These are kids that have graduated and now are like, oh, like, now I want to get back to this. And so I was like, well, while I'm not in the classroom, I still have all this content. Let me start using this for something and showing them and walking them through how to do that stuff. And while it may have only got 20 likes, 30 likes, 50 views, those students saw the impact in it. And, a year later, it's like, oh, these are things that they're still sharing, that they're still using and going back to. So it was just a reminder like, hey, this content is still important and relevant, no matter what the analytics say.
Okay. I'm loving the answer and the response.
Old people have a tendency to give good responses.
It's called wisdom. I'm not gonna call you old. I'm gonna say, even though I said age before beauty, I'm gonna call you seasoned. I don't never like to call nobody old. You seasoned, you experience.
I'll take that. I'll make sure my gray hairs ain't showing.
Miss Nicole.
I think one of my biggest mistakes was waiting to make sure things were perfect before putting myself out there. At some point, I used to be a little fearful of putting out content because I was thinking about what other people would think of me. When people thought, how sometimes, people think they know you, so they'd be a little surprised. And I think I mentioned earlier, like I can be around people, I can be around y'all, and we can be having a general conversation, and it can spark an idea, and I can create a story from it, but it has absolutely nothing to do with me. I'm just telling somebody else's story. So I used to be afraid to put out certain content, especially about sex and all this kind of stuff, because as grown as I am, I would have my classmates from high school and middle school. Oh, I ain't never heard you talk like that. Oh, I ain't never think you'll be. It's like, granted, I'm not telling them. Yes, I've had sex before. Okay. But it's like, I'm not, I guess because I wasn't that girl in school that was a little advanced like the other people. So seeing the content and them knowing about the books now was like, oh, I didn't know you could talk like that. I'm grown. But this has absolutely nothing to do with me per se. But that's the amazing part of being able to create content. And I think another thing was just sitting on ideas and delaying launching products and content, and then just passing up, watching opportunities pass me and seeing other people thrive in certain areas just was like one of my biggest mistakes. So now I'm not the type of person that I just dive head first. It's still thought out, it's still planned out. It has to make sense for me, but that was one of my biggest mistakes. So I learned that perfection isn't always something you want to get it right, but consistency and honesty, it works.
I have two stories, and I'm like kind of torn on which one to kind of share about. But one part of them goes back to what Ronald was saying about analytics. My last job before I went full entrepreneur was working at an e-commerce company, and it was all data driven. We were optimizing things to sell like $20,000 couches and $100,000 lights and all that stuff through click ads. It was like, so coming out of that world and then launching something. And initially, I was hosting these little brunches, and I would basically create like these. I would create blog posts that I would research the whole month before, and then take that content, share that at the brunch, get the feedback, create content about that, and then share it. That was like kind of like my pipeline. But I remember getting so frustrated when I think maybe on our third one that the numbers were so small at the brunch. Like I had all these people, they were so excited, and all that stuff over, and then we dropped down to 5 people, and so I was ready to like stop posting it. I was just like, we can let this go. It's fine. Like it was phased. We got it out of our system, like all that stuff. And my friends were like, I had 2 friends that like cried about us not canceling this event. They're like, people need it. And so what ended up happening is the next event were 5 people that I had never met all came to the brunch. The 2 friends that cried did not come, but the 5 people that were there had a reach of over 30,000 people. And so they came to the brunch, they had a great experience, and like we were like, it was a social media brunch. So like I was sharing how to optimize your content and for growth and all of that stuff. And they ended up tweeting about it. And our next brunch ended up being the biggest one. And then the one after that ended up like we had people flying out of the country, out of the state to come to it, and then we hosted conferences. And so there's a lot of value in showing up for like the small numbers, because like you don't know what the reach of the people that you're serving is. So if you can serve the smaller numbers strongly, like the bigger ones come. But like if I would have quit, then like there's so many things that wouldn't have happened in my life. But like I was ready ready to let that go. Because five was crazy.
Yeah. That's dope. So let me just reiterate on what all 3 of you said, and it's pretty impactful if you kind of just take your stories and kind of just break them down into small bites. So Ron, you said analytics versus impact. Nicole said not waiting on perfection, and then Tirzah, show up for the small numbers. And that's very impactful. I love that, man. That's dope. So, man, Altrice, you got any follow-up questions before we go to the next one?
I do actually.
What you got?
Can I get a ticket to the next brunch?
It's in LA.
I'm fine. I fly all the way out for the experience and everything else, because it definitely hit what all 3 of you guys have said about, not being delayed because you're trying to have all your ducks in a row. The passion behind it. And Mr. Ronald, just so I can make sure I have this understanding for myself. So are you saying impact over analytics?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm the type of person that says fuck analytics.
That's a brand
Like if you are doing it organically, then the results be what they're gonna be, right? It goes back to the statement that y'all made. Like there are people out here doing stuff, doing it for the clicks, do it for the gram, do it for whatever, right? And I'm if that's your lane, then so be it. Like I'm not here to knock somebody's lane or knock somebody's hustle, but if you're if what you're creating content-wise is genuinely a part of you, is genuinely for somebody, then the analytics shouldn't matter. That's my stance.
Okay, I'm a message.
But maybe if somebody wants to talk about analytics, I'm here for it. I went to school for a lot of this, and it's just like those are ways. Oh shit! Those are ways that Eurocentric things and Eurocentric measurements play a role in oppressing people historically. So like we want to talk about analytics. It's very easy to know that, you know, Amanda Seals, I got a love-hate relationship, but like she just had her, you know, debate with 20 conservatives, and you know, shared in that one real big point that I love when she was like, you know, data points are used to lie every day, and are used to oppress every day. So when we talk about analytics, I have seen clients who are taking analytics to try and go get funding for something. Most of my clients are in education. You're talking about creating reports afterwards for an event or for social media, whatever it may be. And they may not get funding for the next year because, oh, well, we looked at this other organization and they had better analytics. Well, that other organization, yeah, had better analytics because they got 600 people to show up who are all non-melanated, and then they went home, versus our nonprofit had 60 people show up, but they were also people who got on the bus and were dedicated to show up because they saw value in what was presented or shared. So I think that, yeah, that's also why I'm anti-analytics. It's very Eurocentric in its value.
Come on, message. I'm gonna call you pastor from now on because you're preaching.
I don't know about that one because I got some. Never mind.
We're gonna say that for the next one. You just know you welcome back anytime.
No, for sure, most definitely. So, I mean, well, let's roll with that though. So Tirzah, are you F analytics too?
I have a love-hate relationship with them, and it's lifelong because I have 2 Virgo parents, and my mom's a database analyst.
Wait a minute.
So that's context, but so my life has been built in a spreadsheet. So I feel like while I'm not anti-analytics because they do help your point when you are trying to serve a mission in certain ways, I think that people don't take the time to do qualitative research or qualitative data. And so like that's the world that I live in, as the qualitative. It's like, how does this make you feel? How, like, did this change your life? Did this create an opportunity that you wouldn't have had if you wouldn't have seen it? Like, did, like, you got to have 1 minute to have this conversation with this person. Do they feel like they were supposed to meet you? Right? You can't always quantify that like in spreadsheets, right? But you can quantify it when I say, like, you know, my customer lifetime value is over $30,000, right? So it's like it can be done, but it's how are you presenting it? How are you tracking it? And what does that actually look like long term for that specific company? Because every company is going to be different. And those aren't my numbers. I was just giving you an example.
I got you. Yeah. Nicole, are you F analytics?
I'm not that deep into it like y'all. I'm just no. No.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's important, but again, y'all are like educated in that area. I didn't go to school for analytics, so nah. Numbers matter when it's important, if that makes sense.
I got you. All right, so that kind of pivots a little bit into our next question. So where does technology fit into what you do on a daily? Like, since we're Code.Sip.Repeat, you know, we have a technology underlying. So Nicole, like, where does technology fit into what you do on a daily?
So I film almost every day. So we have a whole setup with equipment, cameras. We go live. We have to use our devices and stuff like that. When I create content outside of filming for my show, I am using devices to make sure I'm able to, you know, get this content and stuff like that up. So I have to heavily rely on technology to get these things done.
Is there any like specific software or hardware you're using that you would care to share?
So when it comes to filming and like the show and stuff, I cannot tell you what they use.
Mm.
I just show up and look cute on camera. I
Mm.
cannot tell you what they're using when it comes to what I do for is like posting just simple WordPress apps
Okay.
and yeah, and whatever I can do on this iPad or Microsoft or something like that. That's about it. Nothing too, spontaneous, anything.
I got you.
But if y'all have some resources for me, send them my way. I'm
We
open
got
to
you.
trying different stuff.
We got you.
We
We
here for
got you.
networking.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, sis. I'm taking notes.
Oh yeah. Miss Tirzah.
I got anxiety when I saw this question because I was like, what don't I use it for? But like my life is like 90% planning, 10% doing, but that 10% is like very, very like big, but it's because of technology. And like I always tell people that like tech is probably like it's really cool because it's like one of the main industries where people can get out of poverty in one generation with just having your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I, even after my accident, like I built out all the automations for my business, and the only thing I had to do was show up for the calls and stuff like that when I was just doing coaching. Like I am still a web developer, so I manage my team through automations and pipelines. Like we use AI and AI automations to build out some of our brand scripts and things like that. I have like a really robust system for like how we take inventory of like how people are talking about themselves and like even their different profiles, to be able to build out their brand voice and something that feels like authentic to them because we're looking at their energetics. So yeah, like I use AI, AI and tech more than the average person, but it wouldn't look like that to the average person because everything's automated.
I
And
got
stuff,
you.
but yeah.
Now you said energetics.
Because we use it depends on the client, but like some people we can use things like Myers-Briggs and things like that for
Mm-hmm.
building out their brand archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll use like the Jungian archetypes as well and stuff like that. But for people that are open to like human design and astrology, we'll also like use those profiles
Okay.
to find their points of attraction and see like how they polarize their audience or how they bring them closer, or like how people perceive you energetically when you're walking into a space. And then we can have like our fashion designer curate their clothes for that, us be able to set up their speaking engagements and stuff like that with audience that will match with them. And so it's pretty cool because it's very like holistic, but all with tech.
That's pretty cool because I never heard of the term energetic. So you just taught me something new. I'm about to go look into that. But that's pretty dope. All right, Ron, how do you use technology to do what you do?
Um, I think technology for me is it's as common as the pencil we use growing up for school. From the laptop itself, right? You're talking about web and graphic design for that, audio production for that, down to I shouldn't, but I love ChatGPT. You know, the meme where the little boy is like, I love Chipotle, like that's me in ChatGPT. And I don't think that you should use these tools like by themselves without human double checking. Like I don't just be like, all right, from this to this. Like, but I mean, me and ChatGPT is like this. Like that's my brainstorming partner. Like when I need something, I'm going to ChatGPT. And then from there I build. So there's that. Programs I'm using. Shameless plug right now. Like I'm actually getting ready for a workshop that I'm doing on video editing for social. So it's like I'm about to present and talk about CapCut, Canva, all these other apps and stuff like that that people are using to create content for online. And then also there's so many other non-mainstream apps that people might not know about or know that might need access to, and websites, like how people download and stuff. So I'm doing a lot of that stuff. And then, in terms of, so for a little additional information, like we just launched the Crescent podcast for Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated during our conclave. Like that was an initiative that I pushed. So you're talking about now mics, you're talking about how you edit content on the go with your phone in terms of audio, like all that kind of stuff. So it's literally like technology is a modern day pencil for me.
I got a follow-up question for Mr. Ronald. Where I sign up to take the class? Because you dropping gems around here.
You can sign up at my website, hueysun.com. All registration runs through that.
Okay.
So silly girl. So
Wait a minute, Jason. You didn't
yes,
even
ma'am.
answer your own question.
What are you using?
Man, where do I start? I'm like Tirzah. Where do I start? So
I think I made him nervous.
it's like where do I start? So I'm for graphics. I'm heavy in Adobe. So I use a lot of Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop. For web design, I'm pretty heavy with WordPress. But I have made websites with Squarespace with Wix because that's where the client was at and was comfortable with. Um, I've gotten into video editing since I started doing the podcast. I've been using Premiere Pro and then Opus Cut to edit the videos and get clips out. I'm heavily involved in the Google space, so like right now we're using Google Workspace because I'm paying for it, and I don't want to pay for a Zoom account when I got a free video conferencing with this right here. I mean for training, I mean like I can keep going on because my life is technology driven from in my spare time to my side businesses to my work. I mean, I'm technology all day, every day. So, like I'm sitting here looking at my Android phone with my iPad sitting on top of my MacBook. So I got a lot going on, and I'm not getting an iPhone ever.
Don't be a hater like
I knew you were
that.
resistant as soon as you said Android and then you said the whole other stack. I was like, "Oh, you're one of them."
They don't know how to not talk about it. They don't. They
I
just,
know it's a personality trait.
Hey,
I'm not judging you.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I deal with
right,
technology
look,
all
so
day.
you in the infrastructure either way. You got a Mac.
He halfway there.
Look, but I use Google on everything. So we can sit here and have this debate all day. But I'm never getting an iPhone.
It's okay. It's okay. They've been messing up a little bit lately. I'm this close to getting a razor.
Come on, all right, come
Not the
on, come on back.
Motorola
Come on back.
Razor.
Come on back. We'll welcome you back.
I want one too.
Little
See?
nostalgic. I miss like if they actually come out with a sidekick again, I'm done. Like it's over.
Hey, those
I
sidekicks was
can't.
the joint though, for real. I used to
Yeah,
love
they're sleeping
sidekicks.
on it.
We probably need to come together and bring it out.
Hey.
Something. I need it bad. Or BlackBerry. I need it.
Oh, give me a BlackBerry, man. I'll go crazy with a BlackBerry.
I feel like it would fix my attention span to have buttons again.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
correlation is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Cool. So let's get into some creativity and processes. I know, Tirzah, you talked a lot about how a lot of your workflow is automated, but can you kind of just walk us through the content process and like I know you said you're a heavy planner, so do you plan everything out and or do you kind of just let it kind of flow as far as like with the customer, going back to the energetics and things like that?
Yeah. So like for my clients, I'm heavy with planning out their content.
Okay.
With helping them with doing their content structures and things like that. For me, I'm more of a documenter. Like I basically like I'll book out the things that I want to do and then I'll shoot a bunch of content. And sit on it until it energetically feels right, but that's just because that's what works for me and my audience. When I plan things too rigidly, my audience does not respond well to it and stuff. But like when I like randomly send them a message and be like, hey, I'm randomly having this event next month or whatever, like people like surprise and delight in my audience. But like for my clients that have energetics that are more aligned with consistency and their audience aligned with that type of consistency, like we map everything out. They have monthly themes and stuff like that. They break that down, and week by week they have that content that rolls out. But it just depends on like what each one of them is offering.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah. Miss Nicole, you on mute.
Mine is a mix. So, when it comes to me like creating content, I do try to have a content calendar planned out. Like I do have where I'm like, okay, this month I want to do this, or this month I want to do that. Like my book promotions and stuff like that, they're thought out. Now, there are some times where ideas may come spur of the moment. I may be driving, I may be in the shower, maybe in the middle of a conversation or something like that. And as always, I don't put it off until, I'm working on other content or another campaign. I try to squeeze it in. And you can kind of tell, like you were just saying, you can kind of tell because it's like, okay, you were talking about hot girl summer this summer. Like this what the newsletter was about for the summer. Why are we talking about closure and friendships and all this kind of stuff? Or, all this, it is like, yeah, I just kind of threw that in there, but it's okay. It works. It's still for millennial women. Y'all will be all right. And you can relate. That's all that matters.
Got you. Toss it over to you, Ron.
If I'm working, some of my retainer clients, I'm building content calendars and rolling stuff out on the regular with that. But my own stuff, listen, I have a to-do list and an idea list. And I might wake up and 5 things get done on that idea list and 1 thing or no things get done on the to-do list.
Got you.
And I'm content with that. Like these are, when it comes to my brand, both the, the brand of Huey's son versus the brand of just me as a individual, like, y'all gonna get this, whatever it's gonna be. I think, and I'm a firm believer, again, going back to Sigma, it's like, okay, there's content that needs to be planned and distributed. Cool. That's the main, listen, and I say this all out of love. Listen, this pays for my insurance. Everything else pays for the life that I want to live. This is insurance. So we're going to make sure that this insurance is covered and this is taken care of. After that, it's like, oh, I want to launch this product. Oh, this just happened because on Prime, great example is literally we're in the midst of right now. Like I was planning on, there's a reason I wore this sweatshirt. Like I'm re-releasing this sweatshirt in a couple of weeks. But I looked up and the anniversary for the Nat Turner Slave Rebellion is tomorrow on August 21st. And so it's like, okay, that's content right there. Like you can't just stick with what's already ideas that you've already had. It's like you need to be doing something with this. In the midst of that, it's like, oh, you just dropped all these other products over here for the Blue and White family. How are you going to continue to promote that in the midst of this, in the midst of this, in the midst of this? And it goes back to, it's y'all going to get whatever you going to get.
I got that. I respect that. And that kind of reminds me of just like I told y'all, I was at a conference this past weekend where I was wearing 3 separate hats. So one was promoting the organization as a whole, which was BDPA. Then another hat was promoting my chapter, which is the Huntsville chapter, and promoting what our students did, and then promoting my brand, which is Code.Sip.Repeat, because we had events. So it's just, I get it. It's pretty dope. So to kind of start rounding this out, let's go into like how can somebody learn from you? Like how can they get in contact with you? And then we're gonna get some takeaways after you kind of, well, First off, how can somebody get in contact with you, and how can they learn more from you? And I'll start with you, Tirzah.
If they want to get in contact with me, I'm Tirzah Monee on all platforms. If they want to learn from me, they need to become a client because I am very much high touch. But if they want to party with me, they can come to our Yes Manifest brunch. We are having our next one in LA. If you guys shoot me a message, I do private invites to people so that you can get on the list. And then if you're a good fit for the brunch that we're having for that theme, then we do approvals for people to join us.
Oh man, you gotta get on
In
the
other
list over
words,
there.
Gotta get on the list.
right. In other
Oh,
words,
man.
she say, "Book me."
Right.
just don't be weird. That's it. Like come have a good time.
That's what's up.
No, we have a very curated space. So I'm very intentional about the people that we bring into those spaces because we kind of drop the waterline in terms of like what people are going through in their business and like in life. And so we create a really, really energetically safe space for people to have some of those conversations about what's really blocking them in their business. We don't do a lot of filming like you get at a lot of other events. So like people can actually have honest conversations about things that they need to talk about. And it's a great time. And you leave with amazing headshots and your energy's cleared and you're good to go. So
That's what's up. Miss Nicole.
You can connect with me at NicoleSade.com. It's NicoleSade.com. Make sure you subscribe. Do not forget to do that. But you can, there's a Dropbox on there where you can just shoot me an email. You could just I think it may say contact me or something like that. Or I also have a tab that says work with me. So it'll come directly to my email. Just be very clear on what it is that you want to connect about. And you can find me on Facebook at author Nicole Sade, NicoleSade. And on Instagram, you can find me at NVNicky. That's ENVY_NICKY.
Brother Brown.
Depends on what you want. Personal,
bro.
yeah. So if you're looking for actual educational content, your best bet is to follow my Mr. Brown's digital class, Mr. Brown's class, Mr. Brown Digital on Instagram, or joining my group on Instagram. It's Mr. Brown's business class. You can also find that on my personal account, Ronster the Monster. Had a good conversation with a frat brother today actually about that, but we'll come back to that in a second. If you're looking to support e-commerce stuff, then definitely follow us on hueysun.com or at hueysun. And yeah, I'm just a man out here trying to teach people and build his own at the same time. So yeah.
Cool. Before, because I was gonna go into takeaways, but let me ask this: is there a certain platform that you feel resonates more with your brand and more with your content than others? And I'll go in reverse order this time, Ron. What about you?
I would say yes. Short answer is yes. I would say Instagram. I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram, but I would say Instagram. I'm getting a lot of traction on TikTok, but I shouldn't say, let me be politically correct right now. I don't trust the ownership of TikTok in the direction that it's going to go. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why I still continue to feed the beast that is Instagram/Meta.
Ms. Tirzah?
In-person events. No, I was just kidding. But no, like that's real. I like whenever I do all the data and stuff like that, people just want me to host things. But in terms of like online content, it used to be Twitter. Like when I was like really pushing on there, like anytime I did a tweet, you hitting like 4 million people in our analytics, and same thing like when we were like doing highlights for everyone, and it was completely free. So it's like we weren't running ads. It was all organic, but the algorithm has changed so much. So like my next best one is LinkedIn.
Miss Nicole?
I think Facebook works best for me. I would love for my TikTok to grow. I think TikTok would be a great platform for me and the content that I create. But again, like Ron was saying, we really don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. So I'm almost a little afraid to build over there. But yeah, I think TikTok will allow me to be a little bit more authentic and people can like really hear my voice and see me a little bit more. But I don't want to waste time building it.
Yeah.
I should have been on TikTok when it first came out, when everybody was on it, but I missed that wave. That's okay. But I think Facebook works for me the most right now.
I got you.
And email marketing.
That part, yeah.
That's really where I connect with my people.
I'm gonna throw this one at you, Altrice. Which would work good for you too?
I'll definitely say I'm a little bit all over the board. So my personal favorite verse was that I would say my community has grown on has been TikTok. It's allowed me to connect with a lot of different people. So before it was TikTok, it was Musically. So what I've gone into more is that Facebook was really just a way for me to connect with friends from the past. What I'm working on now for myself and building my own content and the type of audience that I like or want is, I'll say Instagram. Instagram is the one where I'm getting more foot traffic. TikTok is more like for personal journey type of authentically me being myself. Um, and with looking at for Code.Sip.Repeat with handling the social media side of that, it's more so Instagram, Facebook, and also LinkedIn. And most of our foot traffic comes from LinkedIn, also, sharing on Facebook, making sure that we're dropping in the right communities or our target population, or simply just the website within itself.
Cool.
Where we gonna find you, brother Bradshaw?
So
Dun, dun, dun.
typically, LinkedIn is where you'll find most of my content at, just because the audience is more tailored to the type of content I put out. So it's more technology focused. Even though my personal brand, however you want to call it, just me, Facebook, I get I drop a picture of my kids and I get 150 likes, and people sharing, commenting, or something like that. But then I put something on LinkedIn, might get two, But then
Mm.
I post something like a short video from one of my events, I might get 100 likes on LinkedIn. It just depends. So LinkedIn, I just never really got into the IG, TikTok wave. I was heavy on Twitter. That's actually how I met Tirzah like years ago. This was pre-pandemic, and man, that's crazy. I've known you that long. And once it got turned into X, I kind of just deleted my account, and I came back and I'm like, what is this? It wasn't the same. Yeah. So LinkedIn and Facebook primarily for me. Um, but I'm gonna do something different. I was just gonna do three takeaways, but I'm gonna put you all on the spot. Um, so let's do three takeaways and one thing that you learned from somebody on the call today. So, Nicole.
Bless you.
Thank you. Just clear my throat. I'm over here struggling, y'all.
Let me
But it's
clear
okay.
my throat.
My three takeaways. I actually wrote them down. To start where you are. your voice matters, and consistency and authenticness matters, and you should stick to it. Be consistent and be authentic. Um, One of the things I learned tonight. Let's see. Um, one of the things I learned was when y'all was asking about giving out our information where people can contact us, and a few, I think Ron Inter was like, well, it depends on what you want, because you don't get anything free. And I'm up here like, oh, you can just find me on my website, or you can email me, you can find me on social media. And I think, and I have to be mindful of that, because it kind of opens the door for people to feel like they could just contact you about anything, when really I want you to book a consultation. Because if you need some business advice, I'm not giving it out for free, depending on what it is. So yeah, that is one of the things I for sure learned tonight, just listening to y'all. And I had kind of beat myself about it. Sometimes I just be like, I have to get to the point to where I don't allow people to have access to me like that.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Tirzah, 3 takeaways and one thing you learned.
So 3 takeaways. Just the power of just the power of serving the season that you're in when it comes to like those smaller numbers. Like clarity creates momentum in terms of that positioning side of things. Like you don't have to do a lot if you're clear. And then choosing your own clients like makes life a lot easier there than just than working with everyone. And then going back to what Mr. Ronald said, like we not leaning all the way into analytics.
Mr. Ronald.
We're gonna like sometimes like not be so deep in the analytics. Sometimes it's okay to like just be qualitative.
All right, Mr. Ron.
Right, y'all gotta stop with this Mr. Ron shit. This is just like that's I can't. Yeah. I think the 3 takeaways for me are heavily on creating space for people to be safe. Like that's something I haven't thought about. So Tirzah, thank you for even sharing that. When Nicole even also shared around, getting out of her way and realizing like the content that you want to create, no matter what it is, people want. Somebody gonna want it. So I definitely welcome that. And then also, the other biggest takeaway I think is overall from our whole conversation is that there's power in community. And linking into community is something that can look a lot of different ways, but it's something that I've embraced my whole life. But I'm also like, as you come into new seasons, how does that look in that season? So I'm kind of dealing with in managing that. You said 3 takeaways, and then what was the other part?
One thing you learned from the panel.
Oh, well, one additional thing I learned from the panel is when Tirzah asked, or not asked, but shared like the automation aspect. And I use automation, but like to automate so much that you have freedoms, I aspire to get to that point. So definitely appreciate that.
Altrice?
Me? Let alone me?
You put me on the spot, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's up? 3 takeaways.
Oh, cool. You already know I know how to act up on the spot. I definitely can say this was a conversation that needed to be had, especially when it comes to content creation. And being that, I'm in the tech field, my degree is not in tech. So, and wanting to be like finding my content creation is my happy space. But to make it long story short, because if not, he gonna cut off my mic. The first thing that I take away, which Nicole kind of covered was you don't have to be perfect to start. Your ducks don't all have to be in a row. But sometimes to go backwards in order to go forward, but sometimes we are so focused on wanting to be perfect that we'll delay something when it's your time, it's your time.
Mhm.
The second thing that Ron the Monster said was it's not about analytics, it's about the impact. Because what's for your people is going to be for your people. It's going to reach that audience. And correct me if I'm wrong, is it Tirzah?
Tirzah.
Tirzah. Okay, I'm going to put respect on it every time. Tirzah, I haven't had an interaction with you, but I love the vibe. Like, community is important, and I love that because if you don't have a community which is strong, especially when nowadays we live in a time where everybody's out for self, it's a dog eat dog world. So if you don't have that type of community where you have a that impact that you are making with when you started out with just 5 people and it has grown tremendously. It's like that's motivation for me to keep going on my mission and what I want to accomplish. And another one, which is from Jason, I definitely just want to give you your flowers while you're here. So, long story short, thank you for giving me an opportunity to do what I love the most. And that is social media marketing, looking at, how we can grow, being able to come up with designs and themes, all of simply based off of a conversation and being in the right place at the right time. So that's my takeaway from it. And it's just, I'm still sitting back in awe with all these heavy hitters in the space.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
We're gonna get a T-shirt for you to say that.
Literally, I think we had that conversation a long time ago.
I can't remember. My final thoughts before we close out is the thing that I got from all three of you is your voice matters. I think at some point everybody had mentioned something about having your voice being heard or just being true to yourself and letting your personality, your energy, your spirit shine. And I think that's the beauty of having these type of engagements is that we can kind of let that show, So I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your knowledge. I appreciate you all. And we had a real cool little out thing that Altrice had wrote up, and I don't have it in front of me.
Wow.
I'm gonna cut that part. So, thanks for spending time with us here on Live with Code.Sip.Repeat, where we educate, engage, and entertain. Remember, every story matters. Every idea has power, and every step you take as a creator inspires someone else to keep going. Until next time, keep creating and keep repeating.
Cut that part too.
There we go.
Thank y'all
Man.
so much for having me. This was fun.